Welcome to Lumio Palooza Day 2, and this session is going to be a fun one. I'm so excited to join you. I'm your host, Tisha Poncio, Global Community Manager, and I am looking at all of you in the chat, and I just want to shout you out. Really special shout out to our Texas people. Of course, our presenter is from Texas. I'll bring her up in just a second, but also want to shout out British Columbia and Columbus, Ohio, and Maryland. Shout out to all of you. And I'm going to do a special shout out that I didn't plan, but we're going to shout out the World Cup because this Texan is going for England and that game has just started. So you know how much I love Candace, our presenter today, because I am going to be co-hosting and producing backstage. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, we want you to pop them in the chat. We are going to highlight your comments. We're going to address your questions and we're going to celebrate you. And also our presenter today, Candace Tickle. Welcome, Candace. I'm going to do a little intro for you. Okay.
Okay.
So Candace Tickle is from Lubbock, Texas. If you know, you know. Tisha's childhood stomping ground is in Lubbock, Texas and West Texas. So such a special moment in time for me to get to introduce you. Candace is a digital learning specialist, which is also an instructional technology specialist. And it goes by a lot of names, but it's really essentially the same role, supporting educators. She's a longtime educator with Lubbock ISD with 2 decades of experience in education. She started off as an elementary teacher, and she was recognized as Innovator of the Year in 2015, and also Educational Service Center Region 17 Teacher of the Year in 2011, which is a huge honor. If you're from Texas, you know what a big honor that is. She's also obviously a Lumio ambassador. She's a Google certified trainer and Apple learning specialist who's passionate about creating technology lessons and learning to really create engaging and meaningful learning experiences, but also discussions. And so I'm thrilled to have her with us today. And I am also thrilled to announce that Candace Tickle was actually the first Lumio ambassador to put together and submit Lumio lessons that are in our brand new Created by Ambassadors Lumio category. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. But Candace, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks, Tisha. Thanks for having me. And Tisha knows that this is one of my favorite things. Anything with Lumio, creating Lumio lessons, working with kids with Lumio, that's like a bright spot in my everyday. So I'm fortunate enough I get to do it every day. And so that's great.
Okay, well, we're going to unlock little voices using
Okay.
Lumio, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute myself. I'll still be here. I'll be in the chat with our attendees, and you are.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Can they see my lesson yet, Tisha?
We can see, there we go. There it is.
Okay, I'm there. All right, you guys, I think Tisha's got you the link for it to join. If you haven't yet, go ahead and join. Everything is in here. You should have be able to click and participate on all of the pieces. And I hope you enjoy unlocking little voices as much as I do. Okay, Tisha, please stop me or shout out if we have any questions.
Absolutely will.
Okay. All right, here we go. So as she said, my name is Candace Tickle. I work with Lubbock ISD and in Lubbock, Texas. And I work with probably now about 50 schools, actually. And so it's going to be an interesting year, but we're excited. In our agenda for today, we have talking about why are we using audio and with kiddos, and listening to learn, and then speaking to share. And so those are kind of the directions that we're going in today. I worked with, so my background is in elementary and early elementary. And when I was hired, I was like, please don't give me first grade. First grade was like the hardest grade ever. And I felt like it was such a big foundation that I didn't know if I could do it justice. Well, you know what? I was offered a first grade position and I loved it. And I loved my 10 years in first grade. And it was like the best time of my life. But it also showed me how important it is for our kiddos to have repeated exposure to familiar words, to sounds, phrases, to make that natural language development immersive. And I was actually one of the first people on my campus to, at that time, we had to write a grant, but I wrote a grant for a smart board. And so I've been using Lumio for a long time, but the audio pieces are phenomenal. I think it helps reduce learner frustration. I think kiddos gain confidence through verbal expression. And I think it helps to bridge that divide. If they can hear it and they hear it modeled correctly, then, we can help them, gain confidence and go further that way. So that's why I love the audio in Lumio. But also, we're going to talk about listening to learn. So we've got some read aloud pieces for emerging readers. We've got some audio cues that we can use for differentiation. And I just showed you what I've got here is kind of my way of kind of making sense. I'm very visual. I'm an elementary teacher. So I have to have the icon and I have to see what the icon looks like so that I know, what my kiddos are going to do. But we're going to take a quick look at immersive reader. We're going to talk about page audio and then what we call object audio. So, and then I have a real lesson that y'all can participate in and kind of get your exposure to it. Okay. So like I said, we're going to talk about instructional audio, page audio, and what I call object audio in kind of two different ways. But this is here just to kind of give you a quick little piece that we have. You can record up to 5 minutes. You can use it for differentiating learning and instructional audio, what you're giving kids as far as the page on instruction. And we can use some audio throughout the lesson. These are kind of your instructions, and you will see these again later. So I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time right now because I want you to see what it is, and then this will make you feel better later on that you can get back to it and you can go, oh, I know, I saw that. So just for a view of what's coming. Okay. All right. So what we have is a little lesson called Barnyard Beats. And this is what I'm going to get you to kind of come along with me on. And this first little piece, you have the option. You should have a play or a start button. I've actually made it a handout. So in this, we have the audio piece over here where you can hear the instructions.
Look on the left and click the immersive reader to get help reading the story.
Okay, so if your kiddos needed help here, as a student, you should see the immersive reader over here on the left, and you should be able to click that. And you can see up here at the top, it kind of highlighted it. You can open that and it will actually open for them and it sends them to another screen. On that immersive reader, though, they have so many options. They can do parts of speech. They can do text preferences. They have reading preferences. They have tons of options in here to make changes according to what their needs are or any differentiation needs that you have there. But this is something that's innate in Lumio, and the only thing you have to make sure is that the text that you have put in there, at least on this piece, is the type text. Okay, it will work on PDFs on it, and we might explore that at another time, but this is what we're talking about on this one. So students could listen to this as an immersive through the immersive reader. Okay, so that is one option. So you guys can play with that. And I love the piece of doing it this way because then, and you'll see in a minute, I can come back and I can see all of my students. I can see where they are. And I love the piece now where you can hide the student names so that you can show this kind of on your screen and you can see where everyone is. I love this piece. All right, on our next page, on this one, this one is actually, and I'm just showing you through the teacher handout, the dashboard would be where those student pieces are. But I've made these all a handout so that you can interact with them and then I can see where you do. So on my teacher handout, and I'm going to get you guys to go ahead and play with that if you want. You are absolutely welcome to. You can hear the instructions here.
Match the labels to the animal sounds.
Hey, so on this one, These are actually sound objects.
Welcome to the farm.
Okay, that I've or found the sounds, and I have put the audio piece on the page. So these are actually not attached to an object. They are just because I don't know if you've seen, sometimes when you put a picture in your picture, you can see kind of this one, that the lines of the picture way out there. So if I attach this one to that picture, that audio piece might be up here. But Lumio is so wonderful. It gives me another option of a place to put it. And so it lets me put that audio piece right there on top of what I want that sound to be referenced to. Now, the words up here,
sheep,
actually attached to the audio or to the word card so that they can be moved and the audio moves with them. And then I can find the item and I can match it to the piece. Now, on my side as a teacher, I can come in here and I can say, okay, I can see that this student has started moving theirs and this student has moved almost all of theirs. And so I can kind of see where my students are. Also, that's my check, because there's not necessarily anything that's going to grade that for you. But if we're talking about kinder, first and second, then I want to see what they've done and get that check off for them as they complete it. And this lets me do that. Okay. All right. And then this next one on this little piece is similar in that you've got, again, your instructional audio here.
Click on the speaker by each sentence to hear what it says. Then listen to each of the words at the top and find the one that fits.
Okay, so you have that audio, and then here's kind of my little demo on it. So they have the audio for the sentence here.
The sheep is blank the pond.
Okay, and then they listen
in
and then move the word. Okay, so the sheep is beside the pond. Okay, same thing, because I have used this and made it interactive and made it a handout. I can see what my students are doing throughout this whole piece. So I can see it in the activity dashboard, and I can see exactly where they are and who has completed it, who still needs to work. This is one of my absolutely favorite features of Lumio. Okay. All right. So all of that to say, just real quick review. We were listening. And
Candace?
Yes.
I am going to ask this question because Ellen has popped it in the chat, and I think it is relevant for the activities we just reviewed. She wants to know, how do you create activities like that to match your lessons? So what is your process? And I think I'm clarifying that for her, but I'm thinking through, if I were working with you as your digital learning specialist and you were the teacher, how would you go about doing an activity like this for your teachers? Are they coming to you? Are you using something like the Teaks, or how are you starting, I guess?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tisha. So this actually was created at the beginning in relation to a teacher's request. She wanted something for like this little piece here on the filling the blank on position words. Okay, so that's like a kindergarten teak. And I actually took Canva and made my background, made all my little characters in that, and made them as objects so that I could move them around, you know, in certain instances, and put them where I wanted them to go. This is actually a piece of a lesson that I pulled out. So in another, in its full entirety, I think the one that is in the library has flip cards where it has the words with the word beside, you know, and shows the picture. So it has some flip cards, some vocabulary matching, as well as this audio piece included there. So basically, I look at whatever their student expectation is, and I think what is a topic that's relevant to them, say farm animals, kindergarten, and then I start looking for my backgrounds, my pieces, and then, staying true to those teaks and whatever they need, to use, because we don't have time for, to stray far away. We've got to get them exactly what they need when they need it. Question?
That was great. No more questions. I think we're ready to move on.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we talked about all of the listening audio pieces as far as that. Listening with objects, listening to instructional audio, and then having audio on the page. And just to repoint those pieces all out, here's my instructional audio over here. And then on my page, on this one, this is the one where I'm going to unlock this one just so that you can see it. So here's my tractor, and you'll notice I move him out, and that audio is not linked to him. So it doesn't, like, I placed it on top of him. And so that's the audio that I can access as a teacher just by clicking over here on the gallery tab, clicking audio, and then I can make that audio that I can put anywhere on the screen. Now, the little words over here, those are audio that is attached actually to the object. So this one says remove, but when I had it before I put the audio, it says add audio, and it walks me through and lets me do that. And I'll show you that as well at the end of our time as well. Okay, so moving on to the other side is students speaking. Now, definitely giving them the way to do this in Lumio was like kind of a godsend to some of the teachers that I work with, because they want to hear them speak. They want to hear them read something. They want to hear them share words and share their stories. And there's not, many pieces that can easily allow them to do that. And Lumio is one of those. So we're going to talk about students explaining content, practicing phonics, maybe retelling a story. We actually did a retelling a story piece with kindergarten. I did a reading a passage piece with some first grade students inside of Lumio. So kind of what I prepared for you to see that is, first, anytime I'm going to do something like this with kiddos, I'm going to show them the tools, like what they're looking for. So I'm going to show them where this gallery tab is on their side, and I'm going to show them where to find that microphone. And I'm going to walk them through how to add audio to the page, or how to add audio to an object. And I'm going to do that as soon as I can in the year, so that then I can use that piece all the way through. And like I said, I taught first grade, and there was lots of people that said first grade can't do that. And I was just like, hide and watch. And we did a lot of it. So I feel like it's always, it's all about showing them and repeating that with them, so that they are comfortable using it. Okay, so you have this little kind of instruction piece. And then here is kind of my version of them reading a story. Okay, so in this, and again, remember, I would have shown them where the microphone is, but here's my instructions.
Click the icon with the heart and the circle, and then click the microphone to record. Place your speaker anywhere you would like on the page.
Okay, so they're actually adding audio to the page. Okay, so they're going to come up to the gallery tab. They're going to select that, and then they're going to click the microphone. And then here they can click and record the audio. Okay. It is a big farm. The rooster is on top of the barn. The cow is in front of the barn. And again, they have 5 minutes to record, but it just depends on your readers, right? So some may take all of that time, and some may do it really quickly. But then they would click add audio, and then there is that audio button, and they can put it anywhere they want. They can leave it right in the middle, wherever. But what's really cool is then I could come back over here and I could see those audio buttons on my teacher page. Okay, I'm going to be able to see who has done that recording, and then I can come back later, which is phenomenal because I don't have time in my day to call my 24 students over to read in front of me every day, but I could listen to them later, and I could come back here and click on their speaker on their page and listen to them. So that's huge. Okay, so again, that is where they are reading the story. But then also we can have them come back in here on this page. And this is where I want them to add object audio. Okay, here's your instructions.
Move the words to where they belong. Then select each word, click on the drop-down arrow, and attach the sound and record yourself reading the word.
Okay, so my students would pick a word. Okay, maybe they're picking chicken. They're going to bring it over here by the chickens, select it. And again, this is the instructions. Again, I would have gone over before, but I also will walk them through it so many times. And I'm going to teach them to look for this word. Even if I say count down, here's where it is, attach audio. They can record the audio, chickens, and then add it, and it's right there. So I'm going to look for, when I come back to see theirs, I'm going to look that they have it in the right place, that they could read that word, and then that they have their audio piece attached as well. Now, all of this is, of course, relevant or depending on where your kids are and how fast you are moving, but so many options of how they can show you what they are doing.
Candace, we have a question.
Awesome.
Do you do these activities in a live or asynchronous lesson? What is your approach with the activities you're sharing today?
I would do these live. I would do this live. You could do it asynchronous if you had, like you were in a virtual school. You absolutely could. I mean, you could do it both ways. The way it's set up with all of your audio, wonderful instructions, and you could even, if I were going to do it virtually, then I would probably make a little video of me walking them through how to do each of the audio pieces, and I would put it on a page for them to watch. So I would probably add that in if I were not doing it live. Okay. Our next little slide here. Oh, we did the words. So we're at the point where here are all of the how-to pages for each of these pieces. So I basically gave you, and I made them handouts so that you could click on them and click the videos down at the bottom. I actually have a video for using immersive reader with what's on the screen. And then also remember, I mentioned the PDF piece. You've got a video to use immersive reader with that as well. And then just kind of some little screenshots to kind of walk you through that piece. And then I also have, remember the little piece I showed you before? I told you it was coming back. So here is that other little piece where it just kind of walks you through each of those pieces, the instructional audio, the page audio, and then just putting it to the object itself specifically. And then last but not least, Lumio has these absolutely amazing, wonderful handouts, and they are linked here. It's a 2-page handout. And that link is there, but it walks you through, has those wonderful instructions of adding the audio to the page or using that instructional audio piece. So you've got that for you as well. And then I did go ahead and include links to the lessons that are in I'm so excited for them to be in the Lumio Ambassador collection and in the shared library. And there is that position Words on the Farm lesson that is tied specifically to those kindergarten teaks there. Okay. Tisha, all right, do we have any questions? Anybody? Have anything, any responses?
I've muted my own self. Ellen was just adding that you could do the activities in centers or do homework, which I think is a great idea. And I have shared your all of the lessons in the shared library, but I love that you have given them those links in the teacher share link. I'm actually adding that to the chat for attendees right now. So you can go grab Candace's teacher share link and save that. You can also bookmark the created by ambassadors in the Lumio library. What do we have next, Candace?
Well, I actually Tisha was thinking I might pop a shout it out real quick in here.
Let's do it.
And let's see, guys, if you would share ideas, how do you think audio could be used? Anything that you kind of like sparked as far as like, oh, maybe I could use this in my stations, or maybe I could use this in my reading class, or something like that. Share if you have some ideas, pop them in. I love that. Student groups who have English language learners, of course. And then using the immersive reader, you can change those languages. But the ELL students, it's so important to take it back to the basics and get those small chunks, small pieces of things ready for them to differentiate. We'll leave that for
I'm adding the responses from the chat. I love it because they're putting responses in the chat. So I'm just going to speak for them and tell you ELA small groups. I think there's so many benefits to the audio piece, and really just speaking from a neurodivergent perspective, accommodating for your neurodivergent learners. I know for me, if I was in your classroom, whether I am in 2nd grade or 12th grade, I'm going to want to explain to you in the way that I do how I am connecting the learning. And sometimes I think it's really important to think about your students. They need to verbally say the thing out loud because it helps them process. I think that's something we forget. Charlotte says you could create slides for nursery rhymes and then add, I'm trying to read, the nursery rhyme being read. Oh, add in like a guessing game, for example. There's so much you could do. And you're speaking from the elementary perspective, but I see like Nikita's like me with the ELA and the high school. Like I'm thinking I could be saying a quote from a book we've read over the course of the year and maybe have my students guess which piece of literature that came from. Or, oh my gosh, I could think of so many different ways to do this, even in like theater classes. Yeah. So anyway, great ideas. Oh, I think we're moving.
Oh, sorry, I had somebody come in here and get something, and so I didn't want her to be shown on camera if she didn't want it. So no worries.
That's absolutely fine.
I'm actually at West Texas A&M at a conference, and so I'm in a little room, just borrowed a room to do this. So, when we borrow spaces,
that's the life of a teacher, Candace. You are showing the real world example. Well, we have about 5 more minutes. We're almost at time. So I'll go ahead and share the resources. Awesome. This screen really just helps you know that you can connect with our community on the Lumio Educator Facebook group. That's a great place to go. Obviously, following Lumio and Smart both on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm going to pop the YouTube channel in the chat because we are going live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want you to have that link. We'll also be live on Instagram and LinkedIn. You also can join the webinars. I'm going to put the webinars in the chat. I didn't have that link available, but I'm going to pop that in the chat because if you're here for Lumio Palooza, we want you to join all the webinars. And this is the landing page where you can see what's coming up. And we do ambassador-led webinars once a month, so you can definitely register for those. And then the Academy is another place you can go. I'm going to pop the sign-up form for the Academy into the chat as well, so that if you want to do some different certifications, you can go into the Academy and sign up for courses. And then I think the next slide, if I'm anticipating this right, is the ambassadors. So Candace, tell everybody the benefit of becoming a Lumio Smart Ambassador.
Well, of course, I am one of those people where I like to achieve goals, and it was a goal of mine to become an ambassador. But also, Tisha runs monthly webinars and sessions where you can go and network with other ambassadors, and you pick up so many wonderful ideas from hearing other people talk about how they use it. They're in the same place that you are, and they, are using things in different ways, and that is just the in all that you do. So I love it.
Absolutely. Well, I popped the link for the application in there. There's no requirement to join. And like Candace said, once you apply, you'll have access to the Ambassador Hub where you can connect with the majority of the presenters today. They're all ambassadors sharing all of their expertise and knowledge. And then I believe the next slide is my reminder for today. So right now, grab a screenshot of Candace and I and this slide, and you can post on social and add in what you've learned either during this session or for the whole day. Make sure you're utilizing hashtag LumioPalooza 2026 and you're following Lumio Social on whatever account you're posting on. That entry is going to put you into the running for our contest, and we will be announcing the winners of that contest on the live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a reminder that all of your Lumio Palooza sessions are recorded. You will receive the recordings in your email after Lumio Palooza week is over. And I am going to put the survey link in the chat because I don't have it, Candace. Of course, that's the one thing I forgot to give our attendees. So let me go grab that.
Okay.
I think you have it somewhere.
I have it on the screen.
I'm going to pop the direct link into the chat.
Okay.
So let me do that really quickly. And this is going to be the link that gives you your professional development credit. And you will get that certificate in your inbox once you complete that form. So that is there. And Candace, I think that's it. Is that all? Do we have any more questions? Not that I can see.
I have. And Tisha, thank you so much for letting me come today and letting me share about unlocking little voices. And I hope everyone enjoys using Lumio audio.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining, Candace. And thank you for watching and engaging with us on this session. We can't wait to see you at 7 p.m. live. The links are signed. Okay, so for the ambassador application, Jillian, you can exit out of that. You don't need to sign in. You just fill out that ambassador application form. I'm going to pop my email address in the chat just in case you run into an issue. Copy and paste that. You can email me and I will get you all sorted. Thank you again, Candace, for joining all the way from West Texas A&M University in Texas. And to all of you, we are going to see you live at 7 p.m. And I'm getting a little sad because it's almost the end of day 2 of Lumio Palooza, but we have this living forever because it's going to be on YouTube soon. So
exactly.
We'll see you all there. Thanks again. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.